I have a crippling gambling addiction. Hello everyone, and welcome back to whatever this is. Who fucking cares? Today I want to talk about something interesting that I came across, which is something called the gambler's fallacy. Have you ever played like a betting game of some kind and you seem to be on a hot streak and then it just like all crumbles? Don't worry, you're not alone in this. This is something called gambler's fallacy, and it's something I find fascinating. A while ago I was thinking about doing a video about the martingale method, or the martingale betting system, which is where you take your bet, and if you lose, you double your bet. And if you keep losing, you keep doubling your bet, so that once you finally win, you never actually really lose any money. But while I was researching that, I came across something that I think is even more interesting, which is the anti-martingale. The perception of the anti-martingale is that once you start winning, you're going to continue winning, so you keep increasing your bet, and once you start losing or going into a cold streak, you start to reduce your bets. It's more of betting with emotion than it really is betting based on a statistical model. Like the martingale model, there's like an actual equation for how the martingale model works. And even though the martingale method theoretically works, there are limitations to the martingale system of betting. For example, you are going in and you start out with the minimum bet of $1,000, playing blackjack, for example, and you keep losing. Like the chances of you losing that many blackjack games in a row is fairly slim, but they definitely exist. Eventually, you're going to either run out of money, or you're going to hit the max bet, and then suddenly the martingale method completely breaks apart. Because as soon as you hit the max limit, you can no longer double the money to recover it. Now you're just maxing your bet and losing the max bet if you continue to lose. Even if you win a game, to recover your money, you're going to have to continue to bet at the max bet, which is just going to drain your line of credit. The reason why I bring this all up is because it's just part of the gambler's fallacy. Let's say I flip this coin 4 times, right? And you get a call out what each result is going to be. So I'm going to flip it once, it's tails. Now, statistically speaking, the chances of me flipping a coin tails 2 times in a row is not 50%. The chance of me throwing tails twice in a row is 1/4 or 1/4. There's only 1 in every 4 times that I would throw a coin 2 times that there would be 2 tails. But just to continue this, I flip the coin a second time. It's tails again. Now, in your head, you must be thinking, well, what's the statistics of Liam flipping a coin 3 times and landing on tails? Well, that would be 1 in every 8 times that I flip 3 coins and I get tails 3 times. You can see where this is going. A run of 5 tails is 1 in 32, so at some point you're going to start saying, well, maybe I should pick heads. The thing is that actually it's not how probability works, but it's one of the ways that our mind subconsciously is geared to think. The thing is, if I continue to flip this coin 1,000,000 times, 500,000 of the times, around 500,000 of the times, it would be heads, and around 500,000 of the times it would be tails. Because all there is to a coin flip is just what it lands on. There's no string of events that is impacted by external factors. But it's a great example of how something so simple as like a coin toss can trick our brains into thinking that there is a better chance of picking one side or the other based on the previous results, even though the previous results have no impact on how I'm flipping the coin. The most famous example of this gambler's fallacy was at the Monte Carlo casino in 1913. There was a roulette game where the ball landed on black 26 times in a row, which is extremely rare. In fact, the statistical odds of a ball landing on black 26 times in a row is 1 in 66.6 million. To put that into perspective, the chance of a person getting struck by lightning is like 1 in 700,000. You have a better chance of getting struck by lightning 50 times Now, on that fateful day, August 18th, 1913, gamblers lost millions of francs trying to bet against black because they thought, well, eventually it's going to go red. But there's no real rhyme or reason. If you're betting red, you should just bet red normally. And people were putting tons of money against red because eventually they thought that they would be raking in big money on that one time that it landed red. There was a reasoning that they had about there being some imbalance in the probability that it made them bet this way, which I think is fascinating, and what this video is really ultimately about, which is the idea that us as humans can't really stay unbiased. Just the way that our brains tick psychologically forces us to think that there are external factors impacting something as simple as a game of red or black. The only real solution that we found for gambler's fallacy, which is a deep-seated cognitive bias, is age. In 1997, two scientists by the name of Fishbein and Schnark administered a test doing the same coin flip problem that I just did, where you would flip a coin several times in a row and you had kids of different ages guess what would come next in the sequence. The results showed that at a younger age you have a much more deep-seated cognitive bias to these patterns, or to gambler's fallacy, and the older you got, the previous results would affect their future guesses less. This is just a roundabout way of saying just because I previously said in a previous event that I was going to be making a video every week and putting it up on my YouTube channel, that now you should not expect me to because of gambler's fallacy. And that's a fact.